Hello, my adventurous friends. We are going on our first adventure of 2021. We're going to a little place called the Bunker Bar. Not that I would drink, but one of the cool things about living in the desert is that there are things called desert bars. They're these really cool locations that you can go and they'll usually have food and water, especially in a desert. And the aesthetic of them is really cool, really edgy, really plays into the look of a desert scenery. So it's not much of a drive for us, it's just right outside of town. But if you're ever in the desert or an area like this, check out to see if there are any desert bars around that location, because they're really neat to go to and really neat to check out. I'm not going to drink anything, but they do have food and they do have a stage, so sometimes there's performers performing out there. I have my drone all packed up and we are driving out there now to go check it out and hopefully get some drone footage. Let's go. So we just sat and ate some food from the food trucks out here, which were amazing. I've had that vendor before at some events in town. They have really good food all the time. It was a little bit chilly, was not expecting it to be as chilly as it was. There was a slight breeze, so it was making it even colder, which it's only 56 degrees, but when you live in a desert, you get cold easy, or at least I do. So we just made our way back to the truck and I'm going to grab my jacket and a blanket and my drone so that we can go get some drone footage. I need to take this blanket because the sand could be bad for the propellers and gears in the drone. Eventually I'm going to have to get a drone pad, which I'll probably do right when we get home. So for now, let's go. really glad that I was wearing my boots because look what I stepped in. That would hurt. Those things will go right through sandals. As you could see, the ambiance of the bunker bar was really cool, and they had a lot of really different things to do there with the cornhole and the foosball table and the band. There were all kinds of different things to go and see. I think that's really neat to just kind of give a place to be at, exist at with the people that you care about. It was also really fun to see how many people took their RCRs and all their desert toys out there. I actually bumped into a friend there. He was saying that they wanted to go for a ride, and so they took a ride through the desert to the bunker bar, and it's a nice little stop for food and all of that too. So I think that's pretty neat for people who have that option. I really love how that turned out in the drone footage too, because as you could see, there was a lot of dust getting kicked up in the desert, and to me that's just really fun. There's so much beauty to this life if you can stop and see it and just take it all in. One thing that constantly surprises me about the desert is how far you can actually see. When we went to visit my family in Florida, there were trees surrounding us, so we really couldn't see that far, and I didn't really realize what kind of a different feel it gave between those two places. I know some people have their own preferences on a desert and on forest. Some people prefer forests better, and some people really love what the desert looks like. Honestly, I think a little part of that has to do with where you grow up, because I absolutely love going to the forest, but that's because I grew up in a desert. All of this scenery is something that I grew up in. This is all familiar to me. But once you can take a step back and see that beauty, really see what God has created and just take it all in, it's amazing to see what kind of beauty there is between all kinds of landscapes. That's one thing that I've really enjoyed about using my drone, is because it's given me a different perspective. It's given me a different view of the desert. I already knew the beauty in our desert. I already know that we have fabulous sunsets. I already know that our mountain ranges are to die for. But taking that drone up in the air and seeing it from a different perspective gave me an even different perspective on the desert, even more appreciation for where we live. So if you're ever around a desert and you look up to see if they have a desert bar, go ahead and do it. Go experience what that location has to offer in its entirety, and take a minute to take it all in. Take every little bit of it in and find the things that just stand out to you and revel in it. And if it helps, try to get a different perspective on it, a different angle. I have a couple things lined up for this month that I'm really excited to share with you guys. So first, some fun news is I started helping out at a youth group in town, and they asked me to help out at one of the winter camps in Prescott, Arizona. I know some people say it Prescott, some people say it Prescott. I prefer Prescott. But I'm super excited for this opportunity, and unfortunately it's the weekend that I was going to do the end of January trip, but I'm still going to do a video on it, and I'm still going to try to get some landscape photos. So keep an eye out for that one. The next thing is the weekend after that, there's going to be the Little Delbert Days Rodeo, which I'm really excited they're still going to do. So I was thinking I was going to do a little video on that just to give you guys an insight into what happens here in Havasu. Finally, I still am going to do my end of January trip, but it's going to be the weekend after the last weekend of January, so it's going to be the first weekend of February. And for that trip, I did pick a name, and Jasmine won, and she said that we should go to Sedona. So our end of January trip is going to be Sedona. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so you can keep updated on when I post my new videos. I'm really excited to share these experiences with you guys, and I'm really excited for these coming up trips. I think they're going to be really great, and I'm really excited to see the things that we're going to see and experience what we're going to experience on our adventures. If you have any suggestions on what we should do in any of those places, make sure to put it in the comments below. And let me know what you thought of where we live, what you think of the desert. I'd love to know what you guys think of it. Until next time, much love.